high-profile debate on the economy coming your way in a couple of minutes. We have a big panel tonight. Praful Patel, Union Minister. Rajiv Rudi is debating with him. Harish Salve, a senior advocate of the Supreme Court. Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, CMD of Biocon, and Rajiv Gowda of the Congress. Five-way debate is starting in 2 minutes. For the first time since the rupee's dramatic fall, the finance minister today made a statement, but only to maintain that the state of our economy was okay. Global slowdown has been blamed, and the government says there is no need for pessimism. But what about domestic inaction? What about policy paralysis? What about a government that has been absolutely unable to really speed up any effective reform?
Rupee continues to nosedive, now breaching 65, hitting a new record low against the dollar. But the government remains confident.
We are in better health than many other countries of the world. Therefore, there is no reason for excessive or unwarranted pessimism.
And even as the government hopes to rein in falling rupee, it is the common man which is reeling under the pressure. With the crude oil bill set to go up for the government, it will impact petrol and diesel prices, having a spiraling impact on the food prices, which will push up grocery bills.
Just half of the month has passed, and I'm so surprising that our budget has already crossed 5,000 for only the vegetables.
From electronics to cars, get set to pay more. For Venkat, the immediate worry is how to sponsor his daughter's higher education abroad, which due to sliding rupee will now cost more.
Now I am a pensioner, so definitely it will be slightly difficult. We will take care of our daughter's education by sacrificing some of her daily needs.
Even the India Inc. is feeling the heat. Already they are cutting down on input costs. But as crucial reforms are stalled and foreign investors shy away, it will have a direct impact on their hiring as well.
With the rupee depreciation, if that continues, then of course it will lead to cost increases, especially in our soap business, because we have to import vegetable oils. As I mentioned, it is imperative that the government acts strongly on that front, the RBI especially.
On the other side, chaos continues in the parliament as the opposition hits out at the government over hurtling economy.
Everybody seems to have lost confidence. Nothing is going to happen. Any step that the government takes becomes counterproductive. Any step which the RBI takes becomes counterproductive.
And despite RBI's interventions, the fundamental problem of policy paralysis continues. And all eyes are now on the government, if they will be able to revive India's growth story. Or are we looking at 70 as the next stop for the rupee? Bureau Report, Times Now.
Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, CMD of Biocon, and Rajiv Gowda of the Congress are from us from Bangalore. Harish Salve, senior advocate of the Supreme Court. Rajiv Rudi represents the BJP. And my first question is to Praful Patel, Union Minister for Heavy Industries and Public Enterprises, who I hope tonight will be able to give us as non-partisan a view of the situation, despite being a union minister. Now, I think your government is batting very defensively, Mr. Praful Patel. And you are more interested, pardon my saying so, in making yourself look good and outstaring the media, outstaring the global corporations, outstaring everyone who is leaving the country, and simply saying we are doing everything right. There must be something wrong with the rest of the world that we are going wrong. What kind of a position is this, Mr. Patel, really?
It's a tough. No, it is a very tough time, Arnab. There is no denying it. And unfortunately, while we are debating this issue on television, not a single day in Parliament for the last 20 days of its sitting have we been able to even discuss the most important issue confronting each and every citizen of India.
Which is what? The food bill?
But that notwithstanding, the fact is, no, why?
I thought for your government the food bill is the most important issue.
The economy, what do you... Well, it is very important for the well-being of every Indian, but at the same time, there are equally important things like discussing the economy. And that's exactly what I'm trying to make. It's a very tough time. And I will not like to paint a rosy picture by saying that all is well. Certainly not. And I think it's time for introspection, time to taking some tough decisions, which unfortunately over the last couple of years we've all been, trying to soft pedal issues and trying to find the solution with the least resistance. And I think as a consequence of this, you see sector after sector, and we have in a way, all of us collectively, let's not isolate only the government, but as a nation, we have messed up on many fronts. And we see the power sector. We have coal in India for 100 years. We still import coal from Indonesia and Australia.
No, but that's your problem. You see, it's your government's fault. No, it's your government's fault. No, it's your. I'm sorry. I don't want to link everything to scams. But I'll tell you one thing. If you give your bhai bhatijas, your friends and family, dubious people coal licenses, and then they don't work on the coal blocks. You know what I'm saying? If you give the Manoj Jaiswals, etc., coal blocks, and they don't start their mining, and because of that our coal production is low, tell me, who are you going to blame? I just want to know from you whether you will honestly tell me that our government, will you say our government has taken the economy to this situation? Our faults have taken the economy to this situation.
Our government. It's a combination of many. No. Everybody in India thinks that, we are all running the country, not just the government alone. And unfortunately, we've got so much multiplicity of, situations and issues. I think, it's becoming, I would say, it's becoming very, very untenable, not only for the government of the day, but I think for any government in future.
So
it's something which all of us will have to introspect.
No, but my problem.
Doing a fantastic job or not.
Okay, let's get the Rajiv Rudy's point of view. I just want to tell you this, that what I find nowadays, Mr. Praful Patel, with great humility, I'm telling you, is that it appears your government is telling us the obvious. Your government is telling us things like, if we get our act together in coal production, supply and distribution, many of the woes in our power sector will go. Well, why didn't you try to do this for 9 years? And what's the point of telling us after 9.5 years that you have to get your act together? I throw the ball to Rajiv Rudy's court. Rajiv Rudy, Praful Patel says you're not letting them function in Parliament. Not the first time I've heard this, but anyway, your response.
You have got an absolutely wrong person on the television to defend the Congress party, and he's half distraught when he speaks what he's speaking today. And I know, just asking what has happened to the civil aviation sector where he was working and where the growth has come down to 6%, 6.5%, and he was there with a tenure when it was going up to 40%. So you've got a completely wrong person. But I'm not interested in answering Praful or questioning Praful. What I am most concerned is, I think you are completely wasting the nation's time, and you will be shocked to hear when I say that. You see, you are discussing about a situation created in the economy by whom? The person who heads the economy today are three big people who know economics. Their credentials in economics is far too beyond than anyone like me or Praful. Now, if you talk about the Prime Minister, an economist Prime Minister is the only country in the world who has an economist Prime Minister, who comes from Oxford, who has been studied in Cambridge, who has been a finance minister, who has been the deputy chairman of the Planning Commission. There can't be any more bigger credential for a person who holds a Prime Minister's phone, and he's clueless. He doesn't know what's happening. Here is Mr. Chidambaram, who is soft, who is smart, who is intellectual, who's got all ability. He is clueless as what is happening in the economy. Here is Mr. Monte Singh Alwari, who got a Padma Bhushan, who's got everything on hand. They are intellect. We are nothing. The country, the politicians, the people who are talking. But my concern only is, even a Babu, a deputy secretary of the Prime Minister office, he was placed in that chair, he would not have performed even worse. Even a professor of a college in Patna where I used to teach.
No, but can you come down substantial point? While your personal attack.
Now my question is,
your personal attack is.
Where do you want the country? The country.
Rajiv, but
are rolling down.
Rajiv, but what is the solution?
A common man of an industrialist.
Please give us a solution. What has gone wrong?
Quite tight in the Parliament and outside Parliament, and they are completely clueless, unconnected as what is happening. Even if it is going to go 70 rupees, the rupee is going to be 70 to a dollar, it doesn't affect them. They are not bothered. They are much more bothered in the politics. Now this country is it's not a political mayhem, it's a financial mayhem in this country, and no one is realizing that in a very short while from now, the country is going to go bankrupt. You see any aspect of the economy, the dollar is weak, the rupee is weak, the Sensex is dropping every second day, 30,000, 40,000 crores of a common man vanishing. No one is there to answer. Inflation remains at its peak. the external debts are going up. Where do you start? The current account deficit is going up. The petrol and diesel prices will go up because the dollar is becoming stronger, and this is going to be passed on to a common.
No, but you know, it's all right to, no, 1 second. But Rajiv Rudy, you presented the entire picture of what's wrong. No, I know what's wrong. We don't need the BJP reiterating what's wrong is not a solution. The question to you is very direct. Suppose tomorrow. Suppose tomorrow. Suppose tomorrow.
I know what is your question, Mr. Arnab Goswami.
You don't know my question. You don't know. You're not Nostradamus.
I know your question. You said, what will you do? Well, just pick
No, that's not the question. No, I don't. No, 1 second. Mr. Rudy, this is Times Now. And on Times Now, I don't ask such easy questions. I don't give platforms like that. What will you do? I know some channels may ask you such easy questions. That's not the question. The question to you is this. And Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw is enjoying this. Harish Salve, sorry to keep you waiting. I want to just nail my friend Rajiv Rudy for a while before I move on. Suppose Mr. Rajiv Rudy.
Oh, do you have that capacity to nail?
Well, let me try. I never know till I try, and then the others will nail you on my behalf. The question is this: if the government says tomorrow, allow me to complete, Rajiv. If the government says tomorrow, yes, we messed it up, okay? We messed it up, Mr. Rajiv Rudy. We are very sorry to you. We messed it up, right? Now tomorrow, in these remaining days of Parliament, we want to push a whole series of labour reforms. Okay, we want to push a whole series of rules for 1 minute to improve administrative governance. We want your 1 minute. We want your support to pass all these bills. We want your support to pass all these bills, right? And we also want your support. They will come to you and they'll say, if you support not to back the food bill, we'll withdraw the food bill. What will you do?
You see there
you are caught between a rock and a hard place because you want to have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah. I'm just answering you. You're answering everything. You see, the art of governance is not falling on the legs of on the feet of the opposition. The art of governance, when you are in majority, is to take decisions. And here you are in a situation when this government has gone cancerous, and you are asking Rajiv Pratap Rudy to give a solution. Nothing. And whichever government comes, the mess which they have created.
Government's cancerous.
The BJP government which comes, just stand by, my friend. Even for the next 2 years, what mess they have created, it cannot be set correct in 2 years. In any action, they had entire 9 years to perform. And you say, come along in next 2-3 months, Mr. Rajiv Pratap Rudy and the BJP, and let's set this. Why do you make such conversation, Mr. Arnab Goswami?
Well,
do you want to?
No, I wanted a more direct response from you to the question that I wanted a response to you. I throw the 1 second. Harish Salve next. Let's get the first round completed. Harish Salve, Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, Rajiv Gowda wants to interrupt you. Rajiv,
I don't have an answer to my question, Mr. Arnab Goswami. You don't have an answer to my question.
No, I only ask questions. I'm not answering questions.
You are trying to condone the Prime Minister and these people.
No, I'm not trying to. Mr. Rudy.
Then what are you trying to do?
Harish Salve, 1 minute. Harish Salve. The government has today given itself a clean chit. Do you agree with this? The government says it's global factors which are responsible for it. The only problem we are doing everything right. Only problem is communication. We need to only communicate better. Your views.
See Arnab, this government has failed hopelessly. It has been failing hopelessly for the last 3 years. I'm sorry, I don't make political comments, but I think the time has come where right-thinking Indians should speak up. And there is something horribly wrong with us as a nation. We have destroyed our economy systematically by becoming arrogant. For some reason, we believe that India is the land of milk and honey, and foreign investors will queue up to invest in India, even if we kick them. For the rest of the world, 2 years back, I remember, the chairman of Goldman Sachs said the India story is over. We laughed in his face and said, oh, no, this is the land of milk and honey and everybody will come and invest. You change laws retrospectively, you change policies arbitrarily, you indulge in egregious corruption, you demonize industry, you jail industrialists, industrial production comes down. Everything is wrong in this country today. There is a pall of gloom which has been hanging for 6 months. What you are seeing today, the fall in growth rates, the collapse of public faith in the economy for the people who matter, all this has been a cumulative effect of non-governance for the last 3 years, third-rate governance for the last 3 years, and these kind of stories which we have been selling to ourselves that, oh, these are global problems, we are doing well. the budget took credit of 19% increase in taxes without increasing tax rates. Pray, how was that done? On the hope that incomes will grow. How will incomes grow? By God, by merciful God smiling on India. Or by the projects being cleared. You have not been able to clear power projects for 10 years. You are going to set up power projects in 6 months' time. Look at coal. The coal story is the biggest insult to governance. And I'm sorry to say it cuts across governments, it cuts across political parties.
Absolutely.
I mean, see, we have systematically destroyed the economy of this country. We have assiduously worked in wrecking ourselves. Only thing is, there is a time lag in the cause effect. From 2010, post Vodafone, let me tell you, Arnab, half a dozen big clients have come and asked me, can we invest in India? If by retrospective law they can change the rules, can they change the rules for anything? I said yes. Then he said, how do we invest? All right, we will go to Indonesia, we will go to Vietnam. And the latest assault of the income tax department, a big American client has $1 billion sitting to invest in India. But they say we will not invest in India if my share capital is taxed in the hands of the recipient company. It is the most absurd thing we have done. They went to the finance minister, he said, I'll consult my attorney general. Attorney general gave a vague kind of an opinion. I don't know, I only read about it.
No, but why? No, but why, Mr. Salve?
Really
no, but why, Mr. Salve? You really have to be...
Because there is complete policy. I'll tell you, Arnab.
No, you have...
I'll tell you, Arnab.
Go ahead.
To be able to take bold decisions, you have to be honest. Today, this government is scared, and I advise clients, please don't make a representation to the government. If anything they decide in your favor will tomorrow be challenged in a PIL, suggesting that please have a CBI inquiry. The gas price has been increased. There is a petition saying this is an act of corruption. And today, will you and I disbelieve it in today's atmosphere? We say maybe. Because the whole credibility of our political system is wrecked and destroyed. And in Parliament, I'm sorry to say, for one reason or the other, I don't think we've seen a really serious debate, bar one or two, in the last 6 months. So all institutions have failed of governance. Parliament is not taking people to account. Media is the only one who's talking about corruption. Then that is creating a negative sentiment. Anything which the government decides is then question mark.
Well, you know, but
so the government doesn't have
what do you do? No, what do you do? See, before
and that is the whole
I think I've been waiting to have this solid, substantial debate for a long time.
There is no alternative to governance.
There isn't any. We know that. But it startles me. You see, Mr. Salve. Mr. Salve. What startles me is the arrogance of the system, which still tells us today we have done nothing wrong. We are only communicating wrong. We are questioning today, what is this policy? Before I come to Kiran Shaw, let me get the Congress in. Let's get a defense. Mr. Salve, let's
2 years back, let me remind you of one thing. 2 years back, when the Vodafone retrospective amendment was coming, and everybody said, why are you doing it? Our finance minister then said, we don't care, we don't live on lizards. I hope you don't drive with the onion prices. You don't actually drive the poor man now to live on lizards.
I think it's time the government takes some really straight questions tonight. And I am getting a feeling that Praful Patel is actually not with the government on this. Let's see if we can extract some truth from him tonight on the news hour. But before I come to Kiran Shaw, sorry for coming to you last. I just want to understand from the Congress representative, please tell me, this doesn't make any sense. You see, what happens, Mr. Gowda, is this. I go to the market and I find that onions are 80 rupees a kilo. Right? I go on the streets, people are losing jobs. I am asking you tonight, Vodafone, let's take the example, a British company involved in a tax dispute for 5 years. It has destroyed India's reputation as an investment destination. Your government, you can deny it, the whole world is saying so, sir, you can deny it. You are announcing 100% FDI in telecom. But if companies that are investing are involved in long-term disputes in court in India, what's the guarantee we'll get any investment? I mean, I don't understand, Mr. Gowda, which world is the government in? And only thing we hear from the Congress party is food security bill, food security bill, food security bill, day in and day out, as if that is the panacea to our problems.
May I?
Panacea to
Are you
the
ready?
problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically the Vodafone case is one case, and it is not the signal that just turned the tide of investment. India is a growing economy. It's one of the economies that is doing much better than other economies in the world, and is going to continue to attract investment in spite of Rajiv Pratap Rudy and Harish Salve talking down the country and talking about
No, one second. What do you mean? What is
you
this?
are going
Anybody
to see a lot of
criticizes you is
investment
talking down
coming
the
in
country?
They are, absolutely. You gave them a long rope there.
Okay.
To go out there and
so if
crash
we ask
India.
the government why you failed,
Okay.
so your logic is, if we ask your government why have you failed, you will say you are talking down the country.
Well, that's exactly what your two guests have just done.
So we have no right to ask why prices are going up. We have no right to ask why companies are leaving. We have no right to ask why ArcelorMittal, POSCO, everybody is leaving the country.
Everyone has a right. Yeah. No, everyone has a right. So do you. Okay.
Thank you for granting me the right.
Now, let's basically get to some of the issues that Chidambaram has basically raised today in his public statement, right? What we are doing is we are looking at one point in time, today's market, today's price, right? These are all things that will adjust.
We don't have such a short-term
market adjustments. Well, that seems to be the way the media is reacting. That's the way people are reacting. But basically, there are business cycles. There are cases, for the first UPF1, we saw very wonderful growth rates, 8-9%. We were hoping for double-digit growth rates. Then 2008 happened. When you are linked with the global economy, you're not only going to get the benefits of it, when there are shocks outside, you're going to suffer the price, the cost of that as well.
I can see you are getting responses.
What we're going through. No. I'm happy I'm getting responses. Basically, the point is that there are many things that are turning around. The finance minister clearly argued today that the current account deficit is manageable. Basically, the fiscal deficit has been kept below 5%, as pointed out.
Let us not be in a mushroom cloud of our own imagination. Let us not be. Sir, things are bad. Rajiv Gowda. Things are bad. I don't want us to have been a mushroom cloud of our own imagination. Praful Patel is also responding. I just want to complete the first round. No, I want to complete the first round. One sec with Kiran Shaw. Kiran Shaw has not spoken. After Kiran Shaw's response, she's been waiting. We go into open round. Praful Patel.
I am not yet done, Arnab. Basically, the other point that I want to mention to you.
Let me.
Can I finish?
I just want to go to Kiran Shaw with your permission once. She's been waiting for half an hour. If you allow me, then I'll come to you, Praful Patel. So Kiran Shaw, I want your response to two very generic points. And to the viewers of the News Hour tonight, 2 points of view from the Congress representative as I go to Kiran Shaw. One, he says that you are running India down. You are running India down. And second point he makes is you have a short-term view. Kiran Shaw, your response to both, or either.
First and foremost, Arnab, I don't agree with Rajiv Gowda. I think I'm completely aligned with Harish Salve's views. I really believe that the hubris with which we became so arrogant to say that we have arrived and that the world needs us and we don't need the world is exactly what has got us into this particular crisis. Today, it's too late to take any measures to correct this economic crisis that we are in. Because what's right for the economy is wrong for the elections, and what's right for elections is wrong for the economy. That is the real situation today.
Absolutely.
And let me tell you another thing, Arnab, that it is going to be very difficult to do anything about this free-falling rupee, because there is a huge challenge we have in terms of the fiscal deficit. For example, are we going to defer the food security bill? No, even though it might be positively impacting the fiscal deficit. We are never going to do that because it's bad for politics, bad for the oncoming elections. If you look at the current account deficit, we need to really, that's the only thing which we can try to contain, I believe, by boosting exports as much as possible and by possibly trying to rein in the imports of finished goods, because that's the only thing we can control. We should not tamper with raw materials and components, because we need that for our own domestic industry. And so this is the situation we are in. Nobody is going to invest anything in India till the elections are over. And that is the truth.
No, but that's unfortunate.
Let's not delude ourselves.
That's
this
unfortunate.
is not going to happen. Nothing is going to change
no, that's
the
unfortunate.
climate right now.
No, that's unfortunate, Ms. Shaw. And I think we should, since the minister is on the news hour tonight, either the minister tells us where he stands, or the minister tells us that no, politics is more important. Because I know that Praful Patel's party is not happy with the food security bill. But the problem with Praful Patel is that he will go along with anything. He will go along with anything the Congress party says, pardon my saying so, because he doesn't want to upset his political equation. So the charge against you, Praful Patel, is this. That you put politics first. You put politics first at a very wrong time. And the people of this country will suffer because of this colossal drain on the economy in a bleak economic scenario, Mr. Patel.
Arnab, I fully endorse what everybody has said, including yourself. For a change, I'll endorse it, that we are in for a heavy dose of populism in this country, which is costing the economy and the general well-being.
Define populism.
For a long time.
Define populism.
Populism means every welfare measure which we take is ultimately ending in populism. But why blame only the government of the day? Mr. Rajiv Pratap Rudy and his government, his party, have governments in so many states. What do they do in Chhattisgarh? What do they do in Madhya Pradesh? What do they do in Gujarat? Or some other parties do it in other states? So this is something which is happening across the board.
So you are accepting and putting a
political party to the other. It is a sorry state of affairs for the nation.
No, you are saying, you are admitting tonight, yes, we are doing and we will continue to do competitive populism. And you are throwing the ball at the BJP squad, saying you are populist too. Economy be damned, jobs be damned, unemployment be damned, stagflation be damned, inflation be damned. We continue to do our populism.
Each political party is competing with the other.
Well, that's
for
terrible,
populism,
isn't it?
And I can tell you that's what I started
so
in the beginning.
So you are compromising all of us.
We are discussing this on News Hour.
Yes.
We are not discussing on the News Hour. We are not discussing anything in Parliament. Where are we all heading for?
No,
ultimately, even if there are problems, even if populism is required, even if social benefits are required for the people, there is an intelligent way of doing it. There is a way to discuss it intelligently and sensibly in Parliament. Instead of discussing it on television, it's important to discuss such an important thing on television. And therefore I endorse everybody what everybody else is saying. I'm as Indian as you are.
I like this.
I'm as nationalist as you are.
No, I like what you're saying. You know why I like what you're saying? Because I have only heard your government blame two things for the failing economy. One, you blame the media. You say you have built about such an atmosphere of pessimism and gloom that people don't want to come to this country. You blame the media, right? Secondly, you blame global factors. For the first time on national television, a minister is admitting that populism is responsible.
Let's not isolate one.
No, you are admitting populism is responsible for the state of our economy. You are admitting and you're saying this is
Of course, everybody is into competitive populism.
It's terrible, isn't it? Rajiv Rudy? It's terrible, isn't it?
It is.
My friend Praful sounds so poor when he tries to discuss and defend this government, and this is it's not him when he's talking, and I can see the anguish on his face.
I'm not defending the government or anybody. I'm talking as an Indian. I'm talking as a concerned individual as much as you are. And let us not break it up into government versus opposition.
Now here is a gentleman, my friend Praful, who is the heavy industries minister of this country,
and I'm willing to go by what you say.
He's the heavy industries minister, and he's talking about the states. The states are looking after agriculture, the states are looking after irrigation, and there all these things are going well. But the states are not looking after how the rupee is falling against the dollar. The states are not looking how imports are going up. The industrial production of the country, if it is in negative, the states are not looking after it when you have to import costlier raw materials. So Mr. Praful Patel, as a heavy industries minister and a former civil aviation minister, please do not try to bring states in the entire economy. And for God's sake, Do not blame the opposition and others. Accept it is a flaw. Accept it as that you all have invested. I know that you have contributed little. But when you talk about these things, Praful, you are completely out of place.
What do you mean by we all are responsible?
The government which has gone defend, you are completely out of place. And most of the
We
people
all are
watching you are
responsible. It's not only the government.
No, so here's the situation. Here's the situation. Harish Salve. Harish Salve. One second. Harish Salve.
Please ask my friend Praful Patel about something about economics. When the industrial production in this country goes down, goes in negative, how do you bring in investment? And where is the investment? And where is the employment? All these big corporates are almost virtually bankrupt. The debts are so high. They cannot make the repayment.
One second. Harish Salve. Harish Salve.
Retrenchment is taking place in all classes. The blue
Harish Salve. When two politicians are in full flow, it is impossible for lesser mortals like us to get a word in.
Politics, Mr. Arnab Goswami. You are not the only person who can talk about economics. I am talking about absolute economics.
Mr. Rudi,
and when I talk about economics, you call it politics. That's the whole problem with Mr. Arnab Goswami.
Mr. Rudi,
I told you exactly about economics, and you have no answer.
Mr. Rudi, I never doubt your ability. I have told you hold the academic position in the college as well. I don't doubt that. That's not the point.
You say you don't talk economics.
No.
Talk about economics. You say you talk politics. I don't know what has happened to you. You are so absolutely confused, Mr.
You see, the problem is this, please. We expect you to tighten things
up. Can I tell you something?
No, Harish Salve, just very briefly, Harish Salve, what are we expecting? We are expecting the politicians to tighten things up. I'm not seeing any hope
tonight. No, it can't happen. Let me tell you why. Let me give you a simple, hard example. One of our biggest imports is oil. One of the biggest oil producers in India, private company, has been knocking at the doors of the government for permission to increase production of oil. But obviously it will require investment. Who will make that investment? That oil company will make the investment. They are already at the highest rate. So government is getting 85% of the profit, 15% is going to this oil company. They have been telling the government, we want to put in $1 billion to increase oil production. We will increase it significantly by 30,000-40,000 barrels per day. It will make a difference of about 3 to 4 billion per year of imports. The government is denying them permission to invest their own money to increase production. And the day they grant that permission, the other opposition party will say government has been bribed. This is how we are running this country. This is how we have brought India to this pass.
Well, we have. And we are in stagflation. The problem is, we are in stagflation, but Rajiv Gowda doesn't think so. This is classic stagflation, Rajiv Gowda. No. I want you to admit that your government has driven the Indian economy into stagflation, which is a situation where growth stagnates, unemployment rises, inflation goes up. And it only happens when the productive side of the economy does not keep up with domestic demand. And the productive side of the economy cannot keep up with demand simply because you have done nothing in 9 years. You have done nothing in 9 years. And now you are telling us, no, 1 second. Let me speak today. Now you are telling us we'll start.
Please go for a checkup. Okay, the basic point is...
No, what checkup?
5 years.
What checkup?
Why do you say 9 years? Years?
Who should go for a checkup for what?
We saw 8-9% growth. We saw that kind of growth, and today what we are talking about is entirely focused on the industrial sector. What about rural India? Are you not seeing income growth there? Are we not seeing a decrease in poverty? Do you have no concern for them?
Their policy
discussion about populism.
Who is this gentleman, Mr. Gowda?
If not populism, it is a necessity.
Now, you get such economists and representatives from the Congress who don't understand economics. When the states are growing, they want to take the country, and what they have to do at the national level, they don't know what to speak, and the whole country can be bluffed by such statements of Congress spokesperson, God save the nation.
Well, he says I should go for a checkup.
Some clueless ex-BJP minister on his show is, please Arnab, choose your guest wisely.
What is he? Arnab, what is he speaking? He should call the talk. We have seen the Prime Minister sit in the Parliament and talk about economics. Mr. Manmohan Singh, Mr. Chinamra, Mr. Montek Singh Ahluwalia. At least if they don't understand what is happening in this country and they are not finding a solution and they are clueless, where is the Congress spokesperson having an idea? I don't know where this brilliance is coming in this gentleman to speak.
I don't know where you are getting your point, Mr. Rudy. I think you should.
The whole country doesn't know what the Prime Minister, who is an economist, has an answer to the country's problem, and here is a man who is trying to defend the economy.
Did you hear Chidambaram today? Rudy, are you clued in?
Yes,
did you hear Chidambaram today?
No, he says.
Yes,
no,
you heard Chidambaram. He gave you the point.
Who has said,
your own Yashwant Sinha has agreed with what he said. Your own Yashwant Sinha agreed with what he said. So why are you talking nonsense?
He is going to go $70 to $1, and he said we have heard his number.
No, 1 minute.
The whole country is hearing Mr.
Don't get beyond the point. Just stick to your brief.
So you please, for God's sake,
your own
save your
performance
face.
today has been
Pointless. At least you will save the Congress Party.
Aimed at talking down the country.
Such people are there in the Congress Party.
No, 1 second. I think Montek Singh Ahluwalia is criticizing the government. You see, I don't know why you are getting worked up. You are saying you said I should get myself checked.
This man is over.
No, Rajiv Gowda, you said, you're 1 second. Rajiv Gowda, did I hear you say that I should get myself checked? No, 1 second. What should I get myself checked for?
I don't know what he's up to.
No, Rajiv Gowda, what should I get myself checked for?
You were talking about the last 9 years, but
Yes.
it's bad.
Yes.
The first 5 years of UPA were terrific. After that, we had 2008
after those 5 years.
After that, things have changed. Okay, good.
I just
basically the last 2 years, the whole globe is going through this.
No.
Hold on, just listen here.
Listen, Mr.
Okay, so basically, I'm saying, please get your facts and figures.
Mr. Gowda, I request you, Mr. Gowda, no, 1 second. Mr. Gowda, I'll get myself checked. You check your facts. You said, did you hear what Chidambaram said? 1 second. Allow me to complete. No, 1 second. You see, Mr. Gowda, you know what Chidambaram said? Chidambaram said, and I put this to Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw. You see, let's not get personal. Chidambaram says that unnecessarily stalling power projects and leaving them stranded, we are importing coal. If we get our act together in coal production, supply and distribution, many of our woes in the power sector will go. I'd like to remind you, Mr. Rajiv Gowda, and I hope you don't tell Mr. Montek Singh Ahluwalia also to get his fact checked, because Montek Singh Ahluwalia criticizes the performance of the coal sector by saying the problems are because of environment, forest clearances and land acquisition. In other words, the Planning Commission itself is blaming policy paralysis within your government for inaction in a sector in which Chidambaram says we have not moved in 9 years, and had we moved there in 9 years, it would have contributed to a better state of the economy. So your government is itself admitting your problems are internal. No, your problems are internal. No. Your arguments are external, and we don't believe those arguments.
You can't call it only internal. You cannot call only these are internal problems.
No, what things don't matter to you?
Kiran Shaw, are the problems only external? Kiran Shaw? And I'd like you to elucidate where you think the government slowed down.
I have personally believed that we have actually done this to ourselves. This is self-inflicted. There is, of course, external impact on every economy, but I believe that India has done more harm to itself by not taking a lot of important, bold policy decisions. It's too late in the day to try and correct all of that. A number of various policy decisions and lack of decisions have led to this crisis. We all know that it's, labor reforms, land reforms, environmental policies, all this has led to this. It is long overdue.
The Praful Patel, I don't want to overextend this. I just want to ask two quick questions to you. One is, you don't like the food security bill. Why don't you step out of the cabinet and say, I can't go along with something that I find is not economically feasible? Sonia Gandhi may want it, but it's not what the country wants. That's one. Because I know you don't like it. Secondly,
I don't agree with you there.
You don't agree. Say one thing. The food security bill
but I agree with.
It's about timing.
It's about timing. It's not about whether, but when. That this may not be the right time to do it.
That's all I'm saying.
I heard Kiran speak, and I think what she spoke is very correct, that there have been more internal factors, a lot of self-inflicted issues which have caused. And I can tell you one thing, you know, when you talked about environment, land, water and other issues, please remember one thing, that we've been doing business in our country over the years. For the last so many years, India has been growing industrially, economically and all that. But at the same time, in the last few years, I don't know, suddenly there has been an overarching, activism which is going on and engulfing every single decision-making process which is taking
What
place.
activism?
I don't want to
What
say
activism?
that, you know, we should, no, in every single way.
Like
no,
what?
no, whether it's the environment, whether it's about, no, I mean, come on, you mean to say factories in India, power plants in India, or other developmental projects in India have not been coming up over the years?
So you had 9 years. Harish Salve wants to respond to you. You had 9 years to fix the structural flaws in the system.
Oh, I'm not trying to defend the indefensible. I agree there is a problem. I am agreeing there is a problem. I am not trying to defend something which is not defensible. I am agreeing. I said what I agree with Kiran, that she said that some of our wounds are self-inflicted. And I agree with her.
Well, I'm glad.
And I agree that we have also made mistakes which we need to correct. But unfortunately, the environment has become so vitiated that now whatever, even that, yes, exactly, it is quite late in the day. If you think that a government in its last year can correct all what has gone wrong in the last 3 or 4 years, I'm sorry, even I would be making an overstatement.
So you had nothing.
But at the
Harish
same time,
Harish Salve, couple of minutes on the debate.
Acknowledge one thing, that it's still not too late in the day to change things.
Arnab?
Well, Harish Salve. Yes, Mr. Salve.
Arnab, I want to say one thing. There is a larger policy paralysis which has gripped us for years. We can never, unfortunately our political class can never get rid of their politics, put their heads together and do the right thing for the country. I mean, that's a utopian thing in India. It happens in other parts of the world, but obviously it doesn't ever happen in India. But there are other things which we could have fixed. Let me tell you one of the reasons for the slowdown. Mines were closed. Iron ore mines were closed for 2 years.
Yeah.
And mind you, they were closed for illegal mining.
Yes,
and where were they? They were in two. One is a Congress-ruled state, one is in a BJP-ruled state.
Absolutely right.
So everybody is tarred with the same brush.
No.
So, and that has...
Point taken.
I know clients who came and complained saying within 6 months from now, we will run out of iron ore.
No, not just that.
All these things have gradually come to visit us.
No, not just that. You're bang on, Harish Salve.
If you're
bang on, and I take that example to question the Congress party. Rajiv Rudi, I'm coming to you right after that, because I think Rajiv Gowda was batting very defensively today. And you've taken the example of iron ore exports being banned. They were banned by the Supreme Court. But why? Because, as Harish Salve rightly says, our mining industry was plagued with corruption perpetuated by the political class. So the whole issue comes down to the impact corruption has had on our economy. Who suffers? It's the Aam Aadmi who suffers. Rajiv Gowda responds specifically to that point to Harish Salve.
Illegal mining is not something that anyone will justify, and similarly, what shall we say, environmental damage, not paying land losers properly, all these are challenges that we need to fix. Okay, so basically these are issues that are contentious and debatable and workoutable, and that process has been taking place.
But there was an interministerial tussle. There was an interministerial tussle between Commerce, Mines and Steel Ministries, which led to the nixing of a plan to export iron ore. No, so your governments can't decide. You are fighting among yourselves. There is corruption. Your governments can't decide. You are fighting among yourselves and there is corruption.
Can I tell you something more now?
Right?
Basically,
can I tell you one more thing?
Issues that are being discussed and debated, and that's healthy for the country.
No, it's healthy.
We are evolving policy,
but
and I do not think it's too late. The Chidambaram has pointed out today that we are going to see growth increases. We are going to see all kinds of positive effects of the good monsoon that we have had. So I think we should be positive and optimistic.
Harish Salve and then Rajiv
Rudi. Go down the path of
we want to be positive.
I want to say one thing.
Harish Salve, I just want to get Rajiv Rudi in. After that, I'm coming to you for the last
one important fact.
Okay, one important quick fact. Rajiv Rudi, after that I'll come to you.
Arnab,
see, let me tell you.
Come in. Yeah, Harish, can I just complete what Rajiv said? Harish,
go on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll just conclude and after that I'm over. Harish, just a second. My only submission here is, Mr. Gowda is again and again talking about one thing. Did you hear Mr. Chidambaram speak? So Mr. Chidambaram has made the country understand that the rupee is going to close at 70 in a very short while. So be prepared for it. And a country which is a trade gap deficit of $200 billion is virtually going to go bankrupt in next 2 months. And this government which is talking about policies is at the fag end of its tenure.
This is
trying to tell the nation that
this is totally erroneous and not
this is the most bizarre statement any congressman can make on the floor or to a nation. My only submission is, if the country or the Prime Minister has to listen or they must listen to Mr. Harish Salve, don't listen to Rajiv Pratap Rudy or the BJP.
No, but
Harish Salve, listen to Kiran Shaw and let the country also realize what a mess the economist Prime Minister,
it's a complete mess. It's a complete mess.
Is a mayhem. We cannot get out. No one can save this country. The only way is to chop off the cancerous part, get rid of this government, and at least we can make an attempt thereof.
Okay, then you can make your election pitch after that. Harish Salve wanted to make a point. I'll close with Kiran Shaw. Yes, Mr. Salve.
I only wanted to tell you one thing. You know, I'm sorry to sound angry today, but I am. First of all, the story of the global cues. Yes, the global economy is watching what the Fed is doing. I am not aware of any other currency which has crashed the way our currency has crashed. So don't talk about global cues.
Absolutely.
Secondly, it is the resilience and depth in an economy which withstands these shocks. We have eroded everything. We were standing on a toothpick and we have fallen. Let me tell you, when the iron ore mines closed, I was the amicus in the forest case. Somebody asked me, what is the quickest way of starting? I said, bring a statute. Under a statute, make your national mining company a receiver for all mines, start producing and selling the iron ore to the steel producers. So that at least the ore mining will start, the workers will get a job, and then the court can work out the legalities. Nobody wanted to do that because you have your pet poodles on both sides. So I am sorry, nobody has a serious interest in fixing this country. I have a very drastic solution to the economic problem.
Well,
as
I
Kiran
like that.
Rightly says,
I
don't think we are going to see any improvement. Any improvement till the next elections are held.
Well, I like that. I think there needs to be
the days for elections.
No, there needs to be tough political decision making, and one point is right. You know, when Chidambaram says global factors,
which can't happen before elections.
No, when Chidambaram says global factors, Chidambaram also knows that while the dollar has rallied against currencies like the rupee and the Indonesian rupiah, it is not the case when it comes to the euro, the sterling or the yen. So, you know, we have to look at what we are doing internally. Yeah, exactly. So
and they are not flying. Their economies are not flying.
Exactly. And their economies are not flying. So there's something seriously wrong with us. So Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, I think one good fact which has emerged from the discussion is an admission that competitive populism is there. But in the next 9 months, very broadly put, we can't sit there and say, you know, it's election time. And we'll just have to sit there and wait to suffer. Lose jobs, have higher EMIs,
advance the election,
you know, not be able to afford food, not be able to afford education, and be ready for even, you know, higher interest rates. We can't suffer because the political class has messed up for 9 years, can we? What can we do? How can we build pressure?
Well, you know, as I said, nothing can happen till the elections are over. Nothing is going to improve. No matter how much you try to talk up the economy, I don't have faith in anything, you know, radical happening to, you know, save the day for the economy, so to speak. So I think the only thing you should be looking to is early elections, because only after elections can you see some clarity in terms of investment climate, in terms of anything. People want political stability and stability in politics and policy making. Right now there is too much of partisan politics. Nobody wants to agree with each other. I really wish our political classes get together, get aligned about at least the economy. And
I
think
agree.
that would be at least
Well, it's
a positive way forward.
It's too much to expect now, but I think we need clarity and we do need communication. But communication without action.
And no sympathies for the Congress government.
Communication
and no sympathies whatsoever for this government.
Communication
And we
without
cannot
action does
condone
not help.
anything, and this is exactly must be the voice of the country against this government.
Well, Rajiv Gowda disagrees. Rajiv Rudy, Rajiv Gowda, the two Rajivs on the show, Harish Salve and Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw. Thank you for joining us on our main debate on the News Hour tonight. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
On the